Tonight, a record day for COVID cases in New South Wales. And Port Lincoln residents gather to talk about Southern Launch's proposed rocket launch facility.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. The COVID outbreak in the far west has reached a grim milestone of 50 total cases, with a record 919 infections recorded across New South Wales today. Broken Hill locals heeding the warning once again, rushing to get tested.
When the question is asked, Broken Hill responds. There were long lines for testing out south, queues snaking through the gates at Memorial Oval. Local case numbers continue to grow. To 8 p.m. last night, 1 new infection was recorded in Broken Hill, 6 in Wilcannia.
Western New South Wales remains a concern for our health authorities, and other parts of the regions are demonstrating some stabilisation in the number of cases.
Police and the ADF continue to conduct welfare checks and deliver food in Wilcannia. The Emergency Management Committee working with supermarkets to arrange deliveries. In Broken Hill, a number of casual contact exposure sites have been added. If you have been to any of these venues during these times, you must get tested and self-isolate until you receive a negative result.
I've been looking after patients in their 20s, in their 30s and in their 40s, many of whom have very young children.
87% of those in intensive care are unvaccinated. Broken Hill's clinic relocated to the Civic Centre today, with health officials hoping the larger space will allow more people to be vaccinated at once.
The vaccination hub will be at the Civic Centre for the foreseeable future, while they're going through that mass vaccination, trying to get everyone done in Broken Hill.
Pfizer is available to anyone aged 16 to 59, AstraZeneca for those older. Bookings are essential and can be made through the eligibility checker or by phone or email.
I believe at a point in time in the future, it may become a walk-in as well, so it won't just be appointment only.
While Council's cleaning regime has ramped up, QR codes will be added to playgrounds and public amenities to further reduce risk.
It's not mandatory from a public health order perspective. However, we are recommending that the community utilise that service, because then that way health can do their contact tracing a lot quicker.
An announcement on the lockdown is expected tomorrow. The Deputy Premier saying there's no doubt a level of restrictions will remain. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Meanwhile, the Army has returned to Port Augusta to help boost the vaccine rollout in the community. Last visiting during NAIDOC week, they returned to help provide residents with their first dose of Pfizer.
Officers in khaki uniforms delivering vital COVID vaccinations. The Australian Army helping to vaccinate Port Augusta's at-risk community members. Operating out of the Stepping Stones Day Centre, the Army helping local nurses with their administrative services.
Today I brought up a team of healthcare professionals, a couple of nursing officers and environmental health techs, and we're here this week just supporting the Pickawea Aboriginal Health Corporation with their mobile clinic.
The team giving out free health assessments to those lacking the means to provide for themselves.
The target was finding those people who can't or won't normally come into the clinic.
The captain says, with the centre staff also putting on a barbecue, there was plenty of opportunity for officers to connect with residents and build relationships.
Having the ADF here has been a big draw card. They've got the ambulance parked out front, and we've got the ability to vaccinate our clients, because a lot of them sort of slip through the cracks.
The community engagement helping to break down barriers between the Defence Force and the local community. The Army will be returning in September to help deliver the second dose. Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Hundreds of Port Lincoln locals gathered at the Lincoln Hotel last night as Southern Launch hosted an information session. Locals are invited to provide their feedback on the company's proposed rocket launch site at Whalers Way.
Rallying together to have their voices heard, opponents of the Whalers Way launch site gathering in numbers.
Our aim is to let the community of Port Lincoln and Lower Eyre Peninsula know what's being proposed.
Over 100 people attended the 2 information sessions at the Lincoln Hotel, locals having the opportunity to have their say on the recently released environmental impact statement.
I'm further concerned that this is happening, so close to Port Lincoln, and the impact this will have on the town, including the road network and the further infrastructure developments.
Southern launched and Plan SA revealing their ideas for the site and region. Not everyone agreeing with the proposed facility.
And we would call on the South Australian government to protect this sanctuary that is home to so much life and endangered species.
The clean Green Whalers Way site, the major talking point of the project.
There's no denying that small satellites in new space, as Southern Launch like to speak, are indeed the future and industry that would be beneficial to South Australia to have.
The federal government granted Southern Launch regulatory approval on Monday for a commercial rocket launch to take place later this year. Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, calls for more support for our struggling tourism sector. And a Munta woman recognised for her mask-making efforts during the pandemic. Welcome back. Residents in the Spencer Gulf are again warned about scams, which could potentially cost them large amounts of money. New ACCC figures show Australians have lost more than $70 million to investment scams in the first half of this year. The most commonly reported incident is cryptocurrency trading scams, with Bitcoin representing more than half of the losses. People who think they have been scammed are advised to call their bank as soon as possible. Tourism operators and workers impacted by the changing COVID situation gathered on the steps of South Australia's Parliament yesterday morning. They're calling for the state government to support operators that are struggling to stay afloat.
Dozens of tourism operators rallied on the steps of Parliament yesterday, urging the state to throw them a lifeline. Operators on the Eyre Peninsula also feeling the pinch.
Definitely, we've noticed the downturn in trade and a lot of cancellations from people that are meant to be coming from interstate for sure.
Businesses might not be locked down like their counterparts in New South Wales and Victoria, but border restrictions are taking a toll. The uncertainty surrounding these closures proving costly.
This whole stop-start is what makes it really tough sort of thing.
Many operators struggling without the interstate tourism dollar, while fees and taxes are still building up.
Income support is one thing. We've got to keep in mind there's still a lot of government fees and charges associated with running a tourism business.
Visitors from the Northern Territory and Queensland are now allowed back into the state, but the hard border with New South Wales and Victoria looks likely to remain in place for some time.
I think what the tourism industry really needs is some certainty of all right, when the borders open, they stay open sort of thing.
Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The science and technology industries are often dominated by males, but a group of Spencer Gulf High School girls hope to change that. They participated in a workshop held at UniSA to get a taste of what they can expect.
Encouraging more girls to begin a career in science, technology, engineering and mathematics. The workshops, run by UniSA, now in its 6th year.
Very excited to say that this year we have 33 schools and 124 girls in attendance of it, so it's grown quite a lot.
In this activity, the girls undertake water chemistry and test the conductivity of the chemicals. It's a sample of what they would be doing in the real world if they decide to take up a position in the field.
I've always wanted to do a STEM career at uni, or STEM pathway. I'm looking into doing environmental sciences or a space science.
The activities are designed to motivate them to consider a pathway in STEM once they leave high school.
It's very important for them to break through the barrier because the STEM industries are very underrepresented with females in the industry.
The university, hoping more girls consider the same pathway at their upcoming Open Day.
We're pleased to be opening the campus this Sunday to the public to come in and have a look at our fantastic facilities and hear about our range of programs.
Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A Moonta Bay resident has been recognised by the Copper Coast Council for her contribution to the community. Betty has been making and donating face masks and says she does it because she loves giving back and keeping busy.
For Betty Smedley, her love for sewing and knitting is now helping the community.
I can't stand for too long or walk, so by doing my sewing for charity is one way I can help.
For years, she has dedicated her time to giving back, hand-making dolls and toys for the less fortunate at Christmas. Last year, she recognised the need for face masks and got straight to work. Sourcing the materials herself, she's now given away hundreds of masks and says she couldn't do it without her partner Dennis.
I've made about 556 so far this year, and I've got more on the go. But I have to get more elastic today.
And just on the elastic, so Dennis here is a big helper.
I'm the cutter.
After the Copper Coast Council learnt about Betty's dedication to the community, they decided to give her recognition for her contribution.
What have we done wrong?
Overwhelmed. Bit overwhelmed, you know, so yeah.
But it is nice just when something is brought to our attention to show that person that we do value what they do, we do value the contribution to the community.
Betty has no signs of slowing down and encourages those who need masks to reach out. Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Great stuff, Betty. Stay with us. The region's schools dress up for Book Week. And an SANFL club considering playing games on the Eyre Peninsula. Norwood fans on the Eyre Peninsula may not have to travel far to see their team play, as the Redlegs look at holding matches in Port Lincoln. The club is working with the Sandful to finalise an annual fixture at Centenary Oval. A number of Eyre Peninsula footballers are currently a part of Norwood's senior playing list. The club has been actively involved on the Eyre Peninsula since it took over the zone from the Port Magpies in 2015. Old worlds, new worlds and other worlds. That's the theme for this year's Book Week, the nation's annual celebration of all things reading. A while a primary school joining in the fun, with students and staff dressing up in their favourite characters.
Recognising the importance of reading and literacy in schools. Students and staff at Memorial Oval Primary School getting into the spirit of Book Week.
This year, Book Week theme is Old Worlds, New Worlds, Other Worlds. This is my 5th Book Week here at Memorial Oval Primary School, and it's been great to see all the students come out and dress up in their awesome costumes.
A parade held this morning as they showcased what characters they dressed up as from their favourite books, tying in with this year's theme. From Rapunzel to Pokemon, and even Aladdin on his magic carpet, children were getting creative.
It's important to celebrate Book Week to recognise all the amazing authors out there that write lots and lots of different books and help children learn.
A student from each class also receiving an award for the most creative costume entered in the parade. Some students keen to share what their favourite book is.
Tell me why you like the Babysitters Club.
Because it has an artist in it and my mum does art at home with me.
Tell me what your favourite book is.
So far it has to be Green Eggs and Ham.
And why do you like Green Eggs and Ham?
Because it's got a lot of rhyming and it's really fun to read.
Inspiring the next generation of children to keep reading. Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
And Port Augusta's Seaview College also jumped into the Book Week fun, with students and teachers embracing the festivities. Students engaged in a class-wide book reading of The Hungry Caterpillar before strutting their stuff in this year's costume parade. Wizards, superheroes and ninjas proving to be some of the more popular costumes. And it wasn't that hard to find where Wally was in the crowd this time, with 4 people donning the costume. Book Week continues until Friday. St Mark's College agriculture students are gearing up for this year's school Merino Weathers competition. Despite the Royal Adelaide show being cancelled, students have told Seven Spencer Golf News they're hoping to take home some ribbons this year.
While the Royal Adelaide show has been canned for another year, 6 lucky St Mark's College students will have the opportunity to head to the city in a few weeks' time, taking part in the Merino lead weather competition.
We've just been helping prepare the sheep, taking them out for leads down the runway and putting the halters and the lead ropes on.
For about the past 10 weeks, they have been practicing for the show, leading the weathers and presenting them square, just some of the attributes they will be judged on.
We'll be judged on like the sheep, they'll be judged on like the wool, like the quality and how they stand and how we present them.
While numbers are heavily restricted, teachers believe the experience is still valuable for them.
Probably with the reduced numbers, they actually get more interaction with probably the other schools.
This will be the second year the school has participated in the competition, this time hoping to bring back some ribbons.
Oh, let's hope so.
Not sure, but yeah, we might have a good chance, yeah.
Their sheep are in great condition. Their sheep have come from Ashby's at Golnair and Michael Kelly at Narrity, and he's really happy with the yield or the wool results so far we've got back and the condition of his sheep. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have the latest news on the region's fuel prices. And Alex Sykes will have the latest weather forecast. Hello again. Fuel prices have remained relatively stable across our region, but autogas drivers are once again seeing a price rise. Here's Lachlan Etta with Fuel Watch.
You'll see lots of green, red and grey on our Fuel Watch charts today. While it looks like there's a lot of movement, the majority are really small changes. Starting as always with unleaded, and Port Lincoln sees a price drop for the second week on the trot, bang on $1.50 a litre there, and around the same price as Kadina, where things are unchanged. It's Port Augusta and Port Pirie that have seen increases this week. For Port Augusta, it's 0.1 of a cent, still $1.54. The city also the most expensive place to fill the tank in our part of SA. Pirie also a small jump, but it's the cheapest option at $1.49 a litre. Whyalla unchanged at $1.53 a litre. Broken Hill also unchanged and the priciest, not that we can really go anywhere at the moment anyway. Adelaide's having a bad week, $1.62 there. The shop around message applies once again. Over to diesel, and it's very welcome news for drivers in Port Pirie. Just a slight drop to $1.46 a litre. That's equal best with Kadina. Everywhere else is the same as last week. From worst to best, $1.54 in Broken Hill, $1.49 in Port Augusta and Whyalla, and Port Lincoln sitting on $1.47. Finally to Autogas, where there's huge discrepancies. Port Pirie up by around half a cent to $1.04 a litre. Only Kadina is more expensive, where you'll pay just under $1.06. Broken Hill has seen a 3-cent increase to 99 cents a litre. That's the same price as Port Lincoln. Whyalla is a whole 16 cents cheaper than its closest neighbour, and the pick of the bunch at 88 cents a litre. Now remember that these prices are the regional averages and do not reflect any one particular outlet. And if you do spot unleaded, diesel or autogas cheaper, be sure to let us know on our Facebook page.
Time now to check what we can expect weather-wise across the Spencer Gulf and Broken Hill for the rest of the week. With all the latest details, it's good evening to Alex Sykes.
Thanks, John, and good evening, everyone. Well, it was a mainly fine day across the region today, a shower here or there. From 3 p.m, Port Augusta was 16 and had morning frost. Port Lincoln had a shower or two and was 14. Broken Hill partly cloudy and 15. Looking further out across the region now, Port Pirie and Woodner reached 15. Kadina, Cleve and Adelaide were 13, while it was partly cloudy and 14 degrees. Cooper Pedy had a sunny top of 17 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, scattered scattered cloud across southern South Australia in brisk southerly winds is causing a few showers, mainly light. Skies are clearer in the north with a high pressure ridge over the region. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southwest to southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas around 1 metre, and south to southwesterly swells around 1 metre. Port Lincoln partly cloudy and 15 tomorrow, Cleve 14 degrees, and Woodner will have morning frost and 17. Whyalla and Kadina both set to be mostly sunny and 15 degrees, and Port Augusta partly cloudy and 17. Port Pirie morning frost and partly cloudy 17. Similar condition in Clare, but a little cooler with a top of 12 degrees, and Broken Hill be partly cloudy and 14 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, Port Augusta and Woodner 22 on Friday, Port Pirie and Whyalla 21, Port Lincoln and Kadina 19, Broken Hill will be sunny and 17, and Cooper Pedy will be windy and 26 degrees. To the weekend forecast now, Port Augusta, Broken Hill and Cooper Pedy 21 degrees, showers in Woodner, Kadina and Adelaide all to reach 17, Port Pirie and Whyalla 20, Port Lincoln showers and 16. And on Sunday, Port Augusta and Cooper Pedy will be 21 degrees, Whyalla and Broken Hill 20, Port Pirie partly cloudy 19, 17 in Port Lincoln, Woodner and Kadina. So the weekend is shaping up to be not too bad at all, John. I tell you what, I've been seeing some great costumes around for this week's Book Week. That's all in weather. See you soon.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Wednesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Until then, on behalf of the entire team, enjoy your evening. Good night.